if you use the sauna 4 times a week, you are 40% less likely to die.
One piece of advice for someone who's struggling with consistency.
The people that have it scheduled and are scheduling it in advance, those are the people that have the best chance.
Did I ever tell you about this? We would sneak in the afternoon after practice, we'd sneak into a hotel.
Welcome back to the Sweat Fanatic Podcast, the podcast where we talk about everything that helps us feel and perform the best. Saunas, sweating, cold plunges, ice baths, biohacking, and more. We dive into what can make you recover better, feel amazing, and live your healthiest life. Today, we're getting into the world of strength, recovery, and mindset with two incredible guests, Katie Hunt and Matt Drilias from Strength Sanctuary, Milwaukee. They're not just about lifting heavy weights, they're about building stronger bodies, minds, and communities. We're going to talk about what makes Strength Sanctuary unique, why recovery is just as important as training, and how infrared heat therapy is becoming a game changer in fitness. Let's get into it. Matt, nice to meet you. So I just met you today, and Katie, nice to meet you as well.
Nice to meet you, Eric.
Thanks you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for talking about strength, recovery, and infrared saunas.
Yes.
So tell us about Strength Sanctuary. What's the vision behind it? What's it sets it apart from your typical gym? Or how did it come about?
I got into fitness about 17 years ago, and this was after basically living through my mid-20s, having like every kind of unhealthy habit. I was really good at those. Yeah. Basically, if you name it, I've probably done it too many times. And I got really lucky. I was actually working in the coffee industry and was really lucky with two of the bosses I had, both my direct manager at the time and the owner of the company. It was a local coffee company. Mm-hmm. And they were both very much promoters of health and fitness. They offered us like a reduced rate to join a gym. I kind of will never forget this moment where I saw a picture of like us as a company and noticed that like here I am 20, 28, 29 and my skin just looked gray.
Oh, sure.
And I was like, okay, like this, everyone else also seems to be maybe experiencing a little more joy and confidence and less gray skin.
Yeah.
And I feel like I finally took the advice of my bosses and ended up trying out this gym where we, had this relationship built with them. Took my first cycling class and got so lucky basically from that moment on with mentors and people welcoming me into the fitness community and really changed the course of my life. I could name kind of all the people, Julie, my life coach, Dorian, Kathy, cycling instructors, Athena, who was my boss. When I think about it, it's like sort of this path of miracles in a way. Like people just came into my life that helped guide me and supported me into building, very different habits than what I had before. And so I started teaching cycling, and that was kind of the gateway. Then went further into my education, became a personal trainer. And so I doing this full time now, which I feel so lucky to be able to do that, especially in our shared space, Strength Sanctuary. But my goal, or for when I'm meeting with my clients or meeting people or even meeting trainers that are up and coming, is I want to be that same person for them, whether it's as the instructor, the personal trainer, making sure that people feel welcome and safe. That's why we call it a sanctuary, and comfortable and have fun. And then also for trainers coming up, I want to be that mentor for them as well, specifically female, just because that's what that's what I am. But I want to help that next generation as well. And Strength Sanctuary, I think what's different about our space is that very welcoming environment, And we do consider ourselves a personal training studio. I feel like that has a different, even though we have group classes with Black Box 100 and different group offerings, personal training studio, there's a little different feel when you come in. It's bright, it's very clean, it's organized, and all of that is kind of to design or to have this safe place for people to come in whatever, like wherever they're at. And when I say different paths, Matt, you can talk about yourself, but Matt has an athletic background, lived a very different life than I did. And so we're bringing kind of these two different perspectives and still able to come up with and create a space where lots of different types of people can have a home base for their fitness and build strength. And
I love it because when people first come into a gym or any type of training environment, and if they haven't been in if they haven't done personal training before or worked out at a gym or anything like that, it can be a very intimidating experience. I'm going to come in. I think a lot of people have the mindset of these people are going to be in peak physical condition. They're going to be extremely strong and flexible. And I'm going to come in, I'm going to be out of shape, very weak, and people are going to judge me. So the word sanctuary, I can tell that, that goes a long way in making people feel comfortable and coming and improving their health and their wellness and their fitness.
Yeah.
Matt, were you in the military?
I was a naval officer.
Nice. How did you, how many years did you do?
About 10 years.
10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Where was your favorite place you've been?
Oh boy, everywhere.
Yeah.
I worked on ships that were home ported in Hawaii. Hawaii is beautiful. I spent a lot of time working in the Middle East. That was a lot of work.
No, I bet.
Lived in San Diego for a while, and Newport, Rhode Island. All those spots were great. But I grew up here and really wanted to come back home.
Yeah. Well, thank you for serving. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. So
Thank you.
my whole family's been in the military. My brother was overseas, and I'm an Army brat in a sense. So I appreciate it. So Katie, you have a background in personal training with a focus on mindset.
Yes.
Can you talk about how that plays a role in strength training?
Going through the motions, doing the exercises, that's all really great. But it can only get you so far. But when I started doing the mindset work, how am I talking to myself when I'm working out? And then to go along with that, how am I encouraging my clients? You can have, I think, faster breakthroughs, less plateaus, when you also have your mind right. It's not a simple task. I think there's lots of different paths. I'm a big supporter and advocate of working with therapists of all different kinds. But I feel like that if you want to have frequent breakthroughs or be able to meet your goals repeatedly, you have to be working on both your physical body and your mental well-being, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Matt, you work with a lot of people looking to build long-term strength. What do you think the biggest mistake people do when they're trying to get stronger?
It seems like I get a lot of questions about programming, like if I'm following the right program, that's the magic bullet that's going to get me stronger and live longer. But recognizing where we are missing appropriate mobility, stability, proprioception, all helps us to move more efficiently. And if we move more efficiently, then we can safely load exercise with more weight, more repetitions, more frequency. So it's how you move, not necessarily what program you're following. And my take, unless you're an elite athlete who's getting paid, what we do in the gym should, one, not get us hurt, should make us healthier, and should allow us to do all the things that we want to do outside the gym. And the way I approach that is by looking at functional movement. We lunge, we squat, we hip hinge, we push, we pull. So I like to say what I do is I teach people how to lift heavy things beautifully.
Yeah, there you go. I love that.
If you're lifting it beautifully, you have the appropriate mobility and stability, and then you're ready to push the intensity then.
So do you have, I know with my trainer, he sometimes, depending on what program we're doing at the time, sometimes he does upper body and then the next day lower body, or sometimes front body, other times the back of our body, sometimes push, sometimes pull. Do you do a kind of a little bit of everything? Do you like to focus on upper versus lower, or what's your take on that?
Most of my clients are probably doing strength training twice a week. And if you're doing it twice a week, I want to hit whole body both times. Most of the research shows that if we're getting 20 to 25 sets per muscle group per week, that's the magic number to maximize strength and hypertrophy. And it doesn't matter too much if that's split up between 2 days or 4 days on that particular muscle group. I also don't like talking about muscle groups. I like to talk about movements.
Okay.
So I'm not talking about, I'm going to build my chest and my biceps, my upper traps. I'm talking about how could I more efficiently push and pull and lunge.
More practical for everyday use
Mhm.
versus bodybuilding for a show.
Which then translates into the aesthetic things. If if you are prepping for a bodybuilding competition, you probably want to follow those bodybuilding protocols where it's chest and back and leg day. But if you're training for everyday life, I think it's more efficient to use full body programming.
Yep. Awesome. So one thing a lot of people don't realize is that recovery is very important in training. How do you approach with your clients recovery, and do you think things like sauna use are becoming more mainstream in the strength world?
Most people want better health, whatever that means to them. So we have clients that are coming in. Some common goals are, I want to be able to get down on the floor and get back up more easily, or I want to recover from an injury, or I want to gain lean muscle mass. I want to lose weight. All of those things. What we look at with every person is, there's different pillars that contribute to achieving those goals. So of course, people are coming to us. We're experts at movement, and so of course we're going to be able to provide support for those clients for strength and conditioning. But we also have to look at all the pillars. So, in my opinion, the pillars are food. Are you getting enough protein and fiber? Hydration. Are you drinking enough water? Again, the strength and the conditioning. Sleep. How's your sleep? Which of course related to recovery.
So much. Sleep is so underrated.
Yes. And stress. So we kind of intake, what's happening with all those different pillars. If you want to achieve this result of, gaining more muscle mass, we still have to look at everything. And what I have found, especially with having the infrared sauna in our space and our recovery room, as we call it, with the sauna and the cold plunge, is that I'm finally able to provide a tool that's accessible and doable that can adjust the stress dial.
Yep.
And that, in my experience, in these 17 years, that has always been the hardest dial to turn, or the hardest pillar to address, because what are the things that we're going to give people for stress? We're going to talk about breathing, and we're going to talk about meditation and yoga, and those things are all really wonderful. And I support them and believe in them, but in my experience, to my clients and for myself, it feels hard. It feels like another thing I'm sending them out in the world to try to add into their already busy lives. When
Like, oh, you're stressed. You need to relax.
Yeah.
Which that helps, right?
Yeah,
just tell
for
somebody
sure.
relax. And a sauna it's easy and it feels good.
Yes. So to have that tool, it's right there. You're already coming in 1, 2, 3 times a week to do your strength training. And I like to recommend to them, book your appointment immediately after. You're already here. Stack the habit, the James Clear Atomic Habits. Snack your habits. You're already doing this one thing, tether something else to it. And so it removes the stress of having to do something somewhere else or do it on your own. And all they have to do is sit in there. I'm finally seeing in myself, in Matt, how having that to be part of our weekly routine is decreasing the stress.
Yeah.
You can seeing it in real time. And that also bleeds into everything else or affects everything else is a better word. So people are sleeping better, moving better, recovering faster. Finally have a tool for people to dial down their stress.
Yep. And that's one of the things is a lot of times people ask me, can I use my phone in there? And I'm like, yeah, you can use it for about 10 minutes and then it'll overheat, but it's good to get away from that stuff. We're constantly working on our phones or doing whatever we do on the phones, but to actually set it down, get away from it and know that it's not going to interrupt you. I mean, there's one of the best places that you could do to get away from it and just meditate or just relax. So it's huge for
That's
that.
one of the best things that I wasn't even thinking about when we got the sauna was just the quiet time.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about all the heat specific benefits. And then I realized once we started using it almost every day, how nice it is just to have that
Yeah.
quiet, how beneficial it is.
I've learned to crave it.
Yeah. I feel like when we first started using it, I kept saying to everyone, they're like, what do you like about it? And I was like, I get all my best ideas in the sauna because I'm not, I'm not looking at a screen. I'm not, and that's still the case. If you want to solve a problem, sit in the sauna.
I love it. Now, you went with the Good Health Saunas and you put a Good Health Sauna into Strength Sanctuary Milwaukee. What led you to that decision? Was there a specific need you were trying to meet with your clients? Do you remember the process of how you were thinking about putting a sauna? I guess what separate Good Health Saunas apart to you?
Well, first, in a very direct answer, I in my 40s, I started taking a leave daily. All the men in my family have had osteoarthritis. My knees started to bother me. I stopped running. This is before I became a trainer. And we were at a weekend fitness competition where I had an opportunity to sit in a 45-degree cold tub for 5 minutes every day. And I realized, my knees feel great. Overall well-being is great. I don't need to take the leave. And so I thought, as soon as we have space for it in the gym, we're getting the cold tub. When I started to do the research on the cold tub, then I found the contrast therapy and the sauna research, and realized, sauna also great for all the recovery benefits, pain relief, reduction in blood pressure and cardiovascular disease, and I feel like everyone that talks about sauna likes to talk about the Finnish sauna study that followed 2,000 Finnish men over a 20-year period, and in that period, if you use the sauna 4 times a week, you are 40% less likely to die.
Yeah, that's incredible. So I think about that. It's like, what other things in life will give you 40% decrease in all-cause mortality? I mean, it's up there with, diet, exercise, sleep, saunas,
10, 20 minutes 4 times a week sitting in the sauna. It feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Don't die.
Yeah.
We like that.
Yeah.
But like looking back at it, shouldn't be surprised that we own a sauna now. I was thinking, uh, I was doing recovery before I knew what recovery was. We had these grueling high school Saturday morning basketball practices, like 3-hour long intense basketball practices. And I don't know how we started doing this. Did I ever tell you about this? We would sneak in the afternoon after practice. We'd sneak into a hotel that had a big heated pool area with a sauna and a hot tub, and we'd spend the afternoon every Saturday, all winter long, all season long. We'd spend every Saturday at the hotel, and it felt great. Same thing in college. I found myself on Sunday afternoons. Those were my leisurely workouts, and at the end of the workout, I'd end up in the sauna. And I was just using it because it felt good. But then when we had space for it in the Strength Sanctuary, and we started to do the research on, like, oh, what kind of sauna do we want, and I realized, oh, it not just feels good, but it's so effective, so useful. So one of my friends had one that he loved, and they were telling me, they're here in Wisconsin, Wisconsin owned. And then we started looking at all the information about Good Health Saunas, all the third-party testing on the air quality and the wood quality, and all those things went into the decision. But I like to read, whether it's a TV or a stereo or a washer and dryer. I read all the reviews. If I can, I use it. um, and then we make a decision. And we did the same thing with this. I think that the last step for us was at the Wisconsin State Fairgrounds, when we sat in the sauna that we ended up purchasing, and said, "Yeah, I like this. I think I could see this in our recovery room at Strength Sanctuary."
How do you personally incorporate it? Do you like to use the sauna after working out, before? Do you ever just go in there and use it alone? Like, how is it in your own personal routine?
I right now am in the habit, it's almost an every other day habit for me. So I tend to, just like I recommend to my clients after I do a strength training session, typically, I book my sauna appointment right after that. I have two different ways depending on how much time I have that I like to use it. Sometimes it's just 20 to 30 minutes. I like to preheat it to about 125, turn it all the way up when I get in there. And typically I don't bring anything in with me, but maybe listen to, again, the meditation type music. Something with no words is good for me. And then the other way I like to use it is going back and forth between our cold plunge and the sauna. So if I'm doing that, if I have a half an hour, I'll do 1 to 3 minutes in the cold plunge, 20 minutes with the sauna, basically as hot as I can get it in the time that I have. If I have an hour, I'll just do that twice. So 1 to 3 minutes in the cold plunge and 20 minutes in the sauna.
Is there a favorite? So I know you talked about the stress. Would that reducing your stress, is that your favorite benefit, or is it something like performance, soreness, mental clarity? Is it just the stress is your top reason for using it?
Yeah, it's hard to pick. I feel like, especially when we first started using it, having those moments of, again, I'm getting all these great creative ideas in the sauna. That's definitely one of my favorite benefits. But then the two of us started noticing that we're sleeping better. That we had an ongoing joke for a while, like, this is like a time machine. Like, his skin looks better, my skin looks better. So I also just started a running training program for myself, and I used to do a lot of running. I haven't done that in a while. But I'm definitely noticing that I recover faster from, I'm not a natural born runner, not a natural born anything athletic, but so having that faster recovery is making the training much more enjoyable as well. So yeah, it's hard to, that was like 5 different things that are my favorite, but it's hard to pick.
Yeah. How about you, Matt?
Well, definitely joints feeling better. Recovering, being ready to go the next day. Sleep. I was not expecting it to improve quality of sleep so much. Um, just generally that relaxed feeling, that lasts beyond just the sauna time. Um, yeah, we're calling it our Benjamin Button machine. We'd be getting into bed
It
at
does
night
your
and
skin.
looking at each other. And, your skin looks better again today. Oh, the other nice thing, Katie mentioned the habit stacking. So because the sauna is available to our clients, when we want to use it, we need to schedule it um, for ourselves. And so I definitely want to get in the sauna. If I have to schedule that, then I'm also getting better about scheduling my own training time, which yeah, everyone has their reasons for. Uh, we think we're too busy. Whether you're a parent or a small business owner or whatever. But when I manage my time better, the sauna is helping me manage my time better because I'm scheduling the sauna so that I'm scheduling the training before that. And that's been a nice little added bonus, unexpected also.
So you both work with a lot of people trying to change their fitness habits for good. What's one of the biggest mindset shifts people need to make to stay consistent?
I was actually surprised. I've had a couple of people tell me in the last few months, you mentioned it earlier about how intimidating is not the right word, but if you're not a gym person, how it could feel like, oh, I need to get in shape before I go see Katie.
Yep.
And uh, I've heard that from multiple people, and it surprised me. It wasn't something that I'd considered. I feel like we're pretty approachable, and Strength Sanctuary is a place where it's open by appointment only. You come in and you know everyone there, and it's I guess it's nice for me to remember that we all at some point have those feelings, but that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
You know, we're here to get you to that. We're to meet you where you are.
Yeah, that's your expertise.
Yeah.
So they need to come to you, and you're going to help them improve their health, make them stronger, improve their mindset, and all that type of stuff. So
I think one of the things that has been on my mind a lot lately is you hear the word, there's always different words that are buzzing around in health and fitness. And right now one of them is consistency, which absolutely you have to have consistency to achieve your goals. But the consistency is different than perfection.
yeah,
I think that's the thing that people are tying together. And for me, it's has been a big mindset shift to realize that consistency for me could mean every other day in the sauna. It's not if I miss a day, I can still be consistent. So I feel like that's definitely a big mindset shift that can um help people move forward faster. And also, what we do and what we're experts at is not just choosing specific exercises and programming, and that's all very important, specific to the individual. But I think for us, again, doing these assessments of all of those different pillars that people have going on in their life, and then identifying where they're at right now and a huge part of our work is how do we reverse engineer that? So like wherever you are right now, what's the next easiest, and I like to put in most fun thing that you can do to move you towards that goal. And that's been a huge mindset shift for me. Breaking it down into little pieces, and then instead of getting overwhelmed by I have to strength train 3 times a week and I have to do all these things, I have to change my diet, to just ask myself what's the next easiest and most fun step, and that can propel you forward.
Did you watch Ted Lasso?
I
Random question.
No, I saw maybe the first couple episodes, and then I think I had to start doing traveling, so I lost track.
In the locker room, he writes "believe" on this poster.
Mm-hmm.
They tape it up above the door, and all the players.
Oh, I did
that-
see that. Yeah.
I just noticed in the Brewers spring training clubhouse, on the wall it says "Trust the process." Believe, trust the process. I feel like that's the mindset thing that I want my clients to focus on, because we're sold all the quick fixes
Yep.
and the 12-week transformations
Mm-hmm.
and the building the behaviors that create lasting change. We don't notice it from one week to the next, and then we look back a year and a half later and we realize
Yeah.
how far we've come.
Yeah.
And it's just we have to trust the process and believe that what we're doing, these small steps on a weekly basis are making a difference, and not get thrown off track by the next shiny thing that jumps in front of us.
I love that answer. You are dead right. That is 100% right. It's not an overnight thing. It's a mindset set shift, and then it's just know that if I commit to this and I come to Matt and Katie and I do what they tell me to do and follow the process, that this is going to transform my life, not only mentally but physically as well, and add longevity to my life. Heat exposure is also being studied for its effects on mental resilience. Sauna sessions can mimic cardiovascular exercise, release heat shock proteins, and even boost mood by increasing endorphins. Do you think there's a mental edge to exposing yourself to controlled stress like in the sauna or during tough workouts?
I mean, I would say absolutely. And going back to
Cold
earlier
plunge too,
when
so
said-
I
yes,
imagine. Yeah.
yes. When we got the cold plunge, I was like, never.
Yep.
I'm not doing it. And then seeing how much people enjoy it, and to kind of tie this into the mindset stuff too, the cold plunge especially, I feel like is so mental. And because I've seen all different types of people be able to get in and not be screaming like I was the first time.
It's more of a challenge to use the cold plunge than the sauna.
Yes.
Like I enjoy the sweating process and the heat process of the sauna. I really use it how I feel afterwards. But when I'm standing in front of my cold plunge, I'm like, I don't want to do it, but I do it because I know I'm going to feel better mentally and physically afterwards. And
Yeah.
it is a mental challenge to stay in there. And it does get a little bit easier the more and more you do it. But for me, I've never been like, oh, I can't wait to use it. I can't wait to feel how I feel after using it.
Yes.
But for my mind, that is one of the biggest mental stresses. And I do get huge benefits that come with that cold plunge. So,
Yeah. But speaking to resilience, I feel like what I have talked to people about, and some people are really uncomfortable in heat too, but it seems to be more so the cold plunge, including myself. But that resilience was sort of surprising to me. Like you can read about this, but I do feel like it's very important to put yourself in situations where you're uncomfortable, because that's the only way that we're going to grow. And the cold plunge, I usually tell people to start with a minute, or in the sauna, start with 20 minutes. To speak to what you said, the feeling that you have when you're done, like, wow, I did that. I could do it again. That applies to having resilience in any aspect of your life. Like 1 minute, who knew that 1 minute in the cold plunge or 20 minutes in the sauna could change our perspective on everything, everything we do.
I talk with a lot of my clients about the central nervous system and how it's regulated, and I like to talk about it like a dial or a dimmer switch on a light. Most of the time, we should be in this parasympathetic state where it's rest, relax, digest, recover. When we're in more parasympathetic tone, we have broader awareness, better executive function, decision making, and we should only shift into that fight or flight sympathetic nervous system tone when we need to, when we're running away from the bear, when we're doing the sorts of things that require narrow focus, extra human strength. If we get stuck in that, then there's all sorts of chronic stress, health problems that happen. And one of the things I found this sauna and cold plunge together, but sauna by itself too, helps with that autonomic nervous system regulation. So we talked about the relaxation. We talked about the sleep. They all kind of work together and compounding effects.
I see that with people in confidence too. Like they feel more confident when they put themselves through that stress.
For sure.
And then it's almost like that's that mental clarity that I feel in myself anyways. Final segment, rapid fire hot seat questions, short answers, just to get to know you personally just a little bit better. One recovery tool you can't live without.
I have this little, it's a trigger point therapy Moby Point ball. That is one of my go-to tools. I feel like if you do anything to address your feet, it travels all the way up your body, even through your brain.
Our sauna for sure makes me feel better. Short answer.
What's your favorite or best pre or post workout meal?
I have a particular protein powder that I really love, some creatine, and I use mushroom coffee. I have for years. That's a whole story we could talk about. Why I love that for my coffee of choice.
If I'm doing an afternoon workout, my favorite lunch is oatmeal and eggs.
Yeah.
Throw a banana and an orange in there.
I can go for that right now.
Post workout. Last night we made some roasted veggies and chicken that just hit the spot. Real simple. Salt and pepper. Throw it in the oven.
When you get done using the sauna, what's your favorite thing to do to maximize benefits?
Well, one of the things that we felt like was really important in our space, and you don't find this everywhere, is just we have a shower. It's a connecting door. Yes, I feel like I even read about this on your website, but to be able to do the sauna and go immediately into this beautiful, spacious shower.
Thanks, Joe. They built our shower in our recovery room. Just opened up. The work was done beginning of January, so we'd been using the sauna before that, but now it's nice that it's all built out the way it was supposed to be.
One piece of advice for someone who's struggling with consistency.
Schedule it. You have to put it on your calendar for it to be real. The people that have it scheduled and are scheduling it in advance, those are the people that have the best chance at consistency.
Be kind to yourself when you're making a lifestyle change, a behavior change. It'll be 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Don't beat yourself up when you have that step back. Just get up and start again.
All right. Well, this has been an awesome conversation about strength, recovery, and mindset. Before we wrap it up, tell people where they can find you and how they can train with you.
So our actual business is located at 1816 North Marshall Street in Milwaukee. And we each have our own individual websites. Mine is funseekerfitness.com. There's a specific page on there for Strength Sanctuary, and mattdrilias.com. So pretty straightforward.
And you can find links to both of those from the Strength Sanctuary website.
Future plans. Have you thought about expanding? Like, is there an overall plan? You like to keep it small and more personalized, or are you planning on maybe expanding in the future?
I think our main area where we're going to be expanding in the next year is having more trainers working out of our space. We were kind of waiting until everything was built before we kind of shouted that out. This would be the first official shout out to if there are trainers out there looking for a space and they have similar, there's lots of different ways to work, lots of different ways you can be a great personal trainer. But for people that are looking for a space to grow and an environment where they can bring their authentic selves and a clean, bright, beautiful space with a recovery room. We'd love to meet those people, but that's my main focus right now is how can I bring up that next group of trainers as we have the space for them to come and work with us.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Katie. Thank you, Matt. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you for bringing us in.
Yeah, of course. I thank you for opening Strength Sanctuary in Milwaukee. The community needs it. And from what I see, the community has embraced you guys big time because you guys are very popular. Your social media is very popular. And not only have I heard about you guys through Aaron, but I've heard about you from other people out there as well. And you come very highly rated. Definitely, if anybody's thinking about, if they need a trainer, if they need to change their fitness and they want to improve their health and wellness, and they live in Milwaukee, they definitely need to come see you guys for sure. That's it for today's episode of the Sweat Fanatic Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and stay tuned for more episodes where we continue to explore everything that can make you recover better, feel amazing, and live your healthiest life. Make sure to follow Katie and Matt for more fitness wisdom. Until next time, get out there and sweat.